All right, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am Morgan here at Jotform. Thanks for joining us today. This is the third webinar in our four-part Mastering Data Essentials series. So far in this series, we have talked about analyzing your full set of data with tables and focusing on individual responses with Jotform Inbox. If you've missed either of those sessions, I would be happy to provide you links to those, the recordings of those. Today, we are doing a 2-for-1 here. We're going to be covering both digest emails and form analytics. With digest emails, you can customize and receive summary emails for one or multiple forms whenever you'd like to receive them. And form analytics gives you valuable insights into how your form users are using the forms, which makes it easy for you to optimize your forms and improve form conversion. My colleague Luke is going to be a presenter today, so we'll be hearing from Luke in just a moment. I am here behind the scenes answering any questions that you have as we go, and also collecting questions for live Q&A at the end of the session. So when Luke is done here today, we'll have some resources, we'll have some time for Q&A, and I personally will see you back here then. Luke, without further ado, I'm going to pass things over to you.
Hey, thanks, Morgan. Yeah, thanks everybody for being here today. Like Morgan said, my name's Luke. I'm a content writer here at Jotform, and we're going to talk about digest emails and form analytics today. So let's get started with digest emails. Okay, for emails are, these allow you to stay up to date on your emails. This helps you keep your inbox clean. Now, you could think of digest emails as a notification email alternative. You may want to receive a notification email every time you get a submission. Chances are you may not. And this way you can get a bunch of submissions in one email periodically. You can also get data from multiple forms at one time. This feature is not available anywhere else within Jotforms. It's a great shortcut there. Essentially, you can receive the data you want when you want it. And that's because of our list of features here. This email is easy to set up and it's easy to use and understand once it arrives in your email inbox. And this feature is available to all Jotform users. So let's take a look at how to create a digest email and what they look like. So there are multiple ways to get this workflow started. I'm going to show you what I think are the two best ways to get this started. You can go to your My Forms homepage and add multiple forms. You can use the check boxes to the left of your forms. And once you click multiple forms, you'll see the Create New Digest button magically appear up top. Now we are going to start simple and use create a digest email with one form. To do that, very quick and easy, you can hover over the form you want. We're going to go with this event sign up form. You can find the More drop-down menu over here on the right. Find the data section in the middle, and then select Create Digest Email. Then I'll get this workflow started. Now, this first list of options include a subject. You can think of this as a name for your digest email. There's a box for email recipients, who's going to receive this email, and then the date settings are going to dictate when this email gets sent out. So we can change the subject. We can change this so we can see how that's done. Like we can call it the webinar digest. How about that? And your email will be automatically included on the recipient list. You could remove yourself from that if you like, because there's a maximum of 10 email recipients. Whether you're on the list or not, you have another email to use or some other reason. It's really easy to add someone. We can add Morgan here. There we go. There she is. And if you have a free account, you are limited to one email recipient, but it's still free to use, free to set up and all that. On the complete other end of the spectrum, Jotform Enterprise client, you can have unlimited email recipients. Now, moving to the date settings, we can choose to receive this email daily, weekly, or monthly. I like weekly. Every Monday sounds good to me, but 10 is a little early for me personally. Let's go, and the time zone will automatically populate to your time zone. as it has here. We're on the West Coast of the US. So once these look good, you can change these later, by the way, but once these look good, you can select the next button on the bottom right portion of the screen to go to the next part. And this as the digest email build. First of all, add more forms here with this add forms button. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute to add a form to this. You can also find this gear icon on the right to access the settings we already configured. You can see the changes I made are still there, I should say. You can save this or you can just close it. It's going to save either way. It's been saved. And then within the body of the email, you can look at this and think of it as a template for what your digest email will look like. To give you a quick sneak peek of that. One moment. Show you what that looks like. Here we go. Here's what this will look like once it's filled out. We'll go back and over this in more detail in a minute, but I just want to give you a quick view of this so you can see. There are basically two sections of the email. I clicked on it. You
Hey, Luke, I'm going to pause you for a second. Sorry. We're having some technical issues. I apologize. Sorry about this, everyone. We're having a little bit of internet issue on our end. And trying to see what we can do to fix that. Just hold on for 1 second.
I can move.
Yeah. Why don't you, can you jump into another room really quickly? Maybe in the back of the office?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One moment.
Sorry, everyone. I've been doing webinars here for over 3 years now, and this is the first time we've had this kind of issue. Luke's gonna hop into a different room on another side of the office, and hopefully we will be back up and running shortly. Just hang tight for a moment here. You can see a little preview of our Jotform offices here while while this is happening.
Hopefully you can hear me better now.
It sounds better to me. Fingers crossed. And I know people are asking if we will have the recording or the slides available.
Okay, yeah.
We will absolutely share that after the session. And if we need to add any clarification, we will provide that as well. But Luke, I'm gonna pass things back over to you again. If anybody has questions because you felt like you missed something in the beginning, we can also cover that a little bit in the Q&A. So feel free to share whatever you think you missed, and we'll try to cover that up, cover that at the end of the session as well. Okay, Luke, back to you.
Sticking with us, everybody. I'll back up a little bit. So perhaps, yeah, just why not, right? So we can add forms over here with the add forms button. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. We can access and that was with the add forms button on the left. On the right, the blue gear icon, we can go back to our settings we configured off the top to begin our workflow. And those have been saved. You can see the changes I've made are still there. We can just close this. It's saved already. And there are two main sections of this digest email. You can think of this as a template, a placeholder for your digest email that will eventually look like this, We'll look at this later, but I want you to see what we're building. And there are two main sections to your digest email. We have the welcome section up top, which I've just clicked on. It has its own list of settings. Then we have the data box for the individual form, which also has its own list of settings. Now, this data box has a chart auto-populated. If your form has a multiple choice element, a single choice element, a drop-down menu element, or a yes/no question element, that for a card form, your digest email will automatically have a chart. So that is in the middle here. Down below, we have individual submissions. And on the very bottom, we can add another form. Here's another way to add a form. I'll show you what that looks like. Let's just choose this form here. Now you can see we have the welcome section up top, the event sign up form data box, and our new data box for our different form for the product order form. We're just going to delete this for now to keep things simple with one form. And you can access the delete button just by clicking the data box right there. So going up top, well, to the welcome section, we'll click the settings. We can choose whether to have a title up top. I think it looks nice with the title. We can choose whether to include a roundup of new submissions or your most submitted form. That's especially key when you have more than one form in your digest. We don't, so we can let's turn this off. I like this just to have new submissions up there. That looks good to me. Moving along to customizing our data box, we can click on it, access the settings with the gear icon on the right, and we have an overview settings, chart settings, and submission settings. The overview will dictate what the top of your digest email looks like, with the summation numbers up top highlighted in blue and purple. The charts will clearly dictate how the chart looks, and the submission settings will dictate how these submissions entries look on the bottom of the digest. So back up top to the overview, we can once again just eliminate that overview if we don't want it. We can also choose which to include between new submissions and total submissions. We already have new submissions up top, so I think I'll just eliminate that and have total submissions. Now we can choose whether to have the view submissions button on or off. You can see that in the top right portion of the data box here. We're going to leave that on because it's a great shortcut. You can use this view submissions button to view your submissions in your Jotform inbox. One click. Once you receive this email, click the view submissions button. It'll take you right to your Jotform inbox. I'll show you that once we look at our email. So that's looking good to me for the overview. Let's look at the chart settings. Now you can have a maximum of 3 charts. Once again, your digest will have a chart if it has a drop-down menu, a single choice element, a multiple choice element, or a yes/no question element. And there are a max of 3 charts you can have in your digest. To access the settings for a specific chart, click on its label here. And you can choose the chart source. Right now, of course, we have one source. I have one drop-down menu on this form. But you can choose between a column chart, a bar chart. We'll keep it with the column. And there's a data table below the chart. You can choose whether to have that on or off. I like how it looks with it off. I like the chart. It looks pretty clean. And you can gather what's going on right away with that chart. You can also choose how to sort the chart, how it displays the data. And we're going to go response high to low. Moving along to the submissions. This dictates how these look down here below. And you can, once again, choose to completely eliminate that if the chart is doing the trick. That may be the case. This next toggle button allows you to hide empty fields. Say somebody didn't answer a certain form element on your form. You can go ahead and hide that. I would recommend making important form elements mandatory to fill out. That way you won't have to deal with that too often or ever. And then moving further down the options, you can select which fields are visible in this digest email. 3 fields are visible by default. You can have 5 fields max, and you can choose which field is the label in bold here. We're going to stick with full name. Maybe you want email address, but I like full name up there, especially because we have the email address down here. You can move these around if you want, just like that. And it'll change how it appears on the digest. You can also choose to eliminate some of these, like submission date. I'm going to take this away because I feel like we know at least ballpark when these submissions came in. I'm getting this email every week on Monday. So I like how those look. And once you are satisfied with your digest email, you can click this test email button on the bottom right portion of the screen. An email will be sent to your inbox and you can take a look. So here we go. Once again, we already took a brief look at this email, but here it is. This is what it looks like. We have the 20 submissions up top. And just think about every one of those 20 submissions would have been an individual email notification, which once again could be what you want. But perhaps you want to clean up your inbox a bit and get the same data all in one digest that gets sent to you periodically. This is the perfect tool for that. And scrolling down, we can see, well, first, let me back up and say, here's the view submissions button, just to prove to you that it does work. Of course it does, but just to check it out. There's our Jotform inbox for this corresponding form. And in the submission boxes, we can click on the email address, and a really easy way to email your form submitters from your personal email. So once again, great way to clean up your Jotform inbox. You can see say you got 20 new submissions in a day. Maybe you don't want all that email. This is perfect for you. So moving along to Jotform form analytics. And we'll talk more about the digest emails at the conclusion of this webinar, but we're going to move on to Jotform form analytics momentarily. There we are. So Jotform form analytics, benefits at a glance. These analytics help you analyze your user behavior via web traffic insight. This reveals critical data such as form conversion rate. And this data provides an opportunity to improve form performance. You'll notice a double asterisk next to that bullet point. That's because that's really most of the point, what we want to hammer home with the analytics is your form may be performing really well. You may be getting a lot of submissions, and we love that for certain. But we feel confident that if you take a look at these analytics every so often, every week, every couple weeks, every month, take a minute, take a look, that we're confident you can find areas you can actually improve form performance even further. And that's what we all want. And some features to help you get that done. This is available for free for all Jotform users. You can sort data by week, month, a custom range, or all-time performance for your form. And you can learn how users fill forms, if they're using a desktop, if they're using a mobile, what web browser they're using, where they are filling your form from, which country. Lots of great data in there. And you can also jump to inbox with one click, just like digest emails. So let's take a look at how to access form analytics and how to navigate the page. So once again, we'll start from my forms homepage, and you can hover on the form you want to use. We're going to use our trusty event sign up form here, at least for this example. You can click the more drop-down menu on the far right, find the data section in the middle, and of course, click form analytics. I have a form analytics page prepared already, but if you click that button, it'll go right to this form analytics page. Now, taking a look at this, we have it set to all time, so we can take a look at the data for this form in its entire lifetime. You can see up top, we can sort by this week, this month, all time, a custom range. A nice shortcut to use a custom range is to click the dates over here on the right, and that'll populate a custom date finder. But back to the all-time view, we can scroll down here, and we have views, responses, conversion rate, average time to fill out the form. And just for your information, a typical conversion rate is about 20 to 30%, so we're looking good here. Down below, we have 4 tabs: traffic, device, platform, location. Now, quickly, the traffic tab contains real IP addresses. We don't want to show that. We're not worried about anybody doing anything with that here right now, but this video will live on the internet. So we want to keep that information off the screen. But within the traffic tab, we have IP addresses and names for people that have visited your form or submitted your form. If someone submitted your form, you can click a checkbox on their line of data, and that will automatically take you to their response in Jotform inbox. Once again, a great shortcut. And moving on to the device tab, as you can see, you can tell if people are filling your form on desktop, iPhone, generic smartphones. We have a nice pie chart here that auto-populates. And for example, this is a great way to optimize your form. Say you're getting more people viewing your form on a mobile device than you anticipated, and perhaps your form could use some optimization for mobile. Maybe you could simplify it a little bit, maybe add pages so it's easy to navigate, maybe make it a card form that's also very nice for mobile, and just make it as neat and tidy as can be so it looks great on mobile devices. That could help boost your conversion rate. Now, moving along to the platform section. This is once again going to tell you which browser people are using. And something to keep in mind, these two tabs are dynamic. They work dynamically together. Within the platform section, you can look at views for the platform. You can look at responses for the platform. And importantly, you can look at the conversion rate for the platform. That's another area where, say, if one of these was really abnormally low, you might have some sort of issue that needs looking at with your form. You can call Jotform support for that. Perhaps you have someone internally that could address that. But those are something you want to look out for, anomalies like that. I think one of the most fun for me, I like maps. Sections of this at Jotform Analytics is a location function. And plus, it can offer another opportunity to improve your form's performance. Before I tell you how that works, first of all, take a look at this. We can highlight areas on the map, and the darker the orange color, the more views have been made in this case. In this, we can switch the responses, and that data changes. Conversion rate, we don't have the cool map, but we do have the conversion rate here on the side. Now, say you're getting a lot of views from a country that speaks a different language than your form is in, and that the conversion rate for that country is low. There's probably an obvious reason why. It's the language. Now, say you notice that situation, you can potentially use Jotform's language settings in the form builder to optimize that form for different languages. And that could further boost your form's performance. And another great feature of Jotform Form Analytics is, say, when you take that little bit of time every 2 weeks, every month, every so often to look at Jotform Analytics, you can click the arrow up here on the top right portion of the analytics page, and you can switch between forms like automatically, just in one click, or a couple clicks, I guess, technically, but very quickly. So that's a great benefit for you. So you can check out all your forms in one place, look at all this in-depth data in one place. So once again, both these tools are going to help you learn about what's incoming, learn about how to improve and get more data incoming onto your form. And we really would love you to try them out if you're not already. And we're confident they'll help you out. So Morgan, thanks for the handoff. I'll hand it back to you. And thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luke. I want to apologize again for the internet issues. I also want to give another thanks to Luke for handling that so smoothly. This is only the second time he's done a webinar. So thank you, Luke, for backtracking a little bit and for getting us back up and running. I know we had a few questions about digest emails, and probably good to reiterate these either way, since I know there was the little bit of fuzziness there at the beginning. Again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to drop them in. I'm going to share the questions we do have in a sec, but I did want to talk about the resources that Luke has pulled up here. We have a couple blogs and other resources for both of these tools, landing pages as well. So you're seeing some of what's available here. We will also link to these in the recording on our YouTube channel, in the description there. I do want to reiterate that we will have the recording available on YouTube, and I'll review it to make sure that everything that eventually is clear enough. If there's anything we need to clarify in the description, we will. And you can always get in touch with us if you have additional questions after the webinar as well. All right. So questions, Luke, I know you mentioned during the digest emails that you can add multiple forms to a digest email. to an email digest. Can you just show that again, show that
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Check this out. So, yeah, like we said, this is one of the main benefits of digest emails. So that's a great question. And we can get out of this workflow here. And yeah, so you want to start from your My Forms homepage. And the quickest way to do this is to use the check boxes on the My Forms page and click the forms you want to use. And actually, this Create New Digest button populates. It's not there initially. Once you click multiple forms, it will be there. And you can click this and you'll get right into your Create a Digest workflow.
Great. Thank you. And then also, I believe you mentioned this at the beginning, but can you clarify, can you have both digest emails and notification emails?
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good question. And yes, absolutely. That's a great option, especially if you're getting a digest email every month, say. And yes, you absolutely can do that. And I can actually show you quickly how
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
done.
I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mentioned off the top that there are multiple ways to start this workflow to get your digest started. One great way is within the form builder. So we're going to stick with our event sign up form. We're going to click edit form to get us into the form builder. And all these emails are related, and we keep them in the same section of our settings menu in the form builder. You can access that from the top banner in the middle. And then you can switch the emails to find that on the left, and you can see your notification, your autoresponder. Those are both on, and you can click the add email button up top to access the digest email workflow. That'll get you right back to where we started with each of these workflows. And as you can see, all these emails are very closely related. So of course you can have them all firing off with every notification or every submission, I
Awesome.
should say. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that quick demo there.
Yeah.
And just if anybody needs just a little bit more info there, so notification emails, the top one there, those go to you every time you receive a submission. The digest email, as Luke mentioned, is one that you can customize, so you're not getting that, or you're getting that in addition to the one every time. And then the autoresponder email is the one that your submitters see when they submit. So you have the flexibility to turn any of those off entirely, on entirely, customize them, etc. So just wanted to highlight that before we moved on. Actually, I think that's the last question I see. So I am gonna go ahead and close this out. I want to thank everybody again who stuck with us through our little bit of audio difficulty. Thank you, Luke, again for handling that smoothly and moving to the back of the office. Again, if we miss any questions, or if you have additional questions, please feel free to get in touch. You can reach out to me directly. I'm Morgan at jotform.com. We also have our support team, so that would just be jotform.com/contact. Either of those, either of us would be happy to help you out. And again, this will be available on our YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/thejotform. It should be available a little bit later today, and you'll also receive an email with a link to it early next week. So again, thank you for sticking with us. We have one more webinar in this series. If you're not already signed up for that, our last webinar next Thursday, same time, we'll be covering our report builder. So I will be talking all about how to build reports in Jotform there. Again, if you're not already signed up, you can find that sign up link in the same form you used to sign up for this one. So hopefully I will see you there. And without further ado, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you at a future webinar. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.